Welcome back to the channel, The Real Ish. If you are new here, we cover all things that are horror based, scary movies, horror movies, strange occurrences, you know, whatever it is. And I give my real ish opinion. For this video, it's gonna kind of piggyback off of one of my previous videos where I'm touching on horror movies that were inspired by true horror stories. You know, inspired by real events. So without any delay, we're gonna jump right into this video. I'm gonna try not to make this one as long as the other one, so let's jump right into it. The first movie that I'm gonna talk about is Annabelle. Annabelle is from 2014. This is the plot of Annabelle, in case you didn't know. It says Annabelle follows John and Mia, a young couple in California who are expecting their first child. John brings home a porcelain doll for Mia, intending it as a gift for their baby that very night. In the case of a bizarrely complicated scripting, the Higgins are slaughtered by a pair of Manson-like cult members. When the Forms telephone the police, they inadvertently alert the cultists and have their own home invaded by the pair. The police arrive just in time to shoot down the scraggly-haired Charlie impersonator. Unfortunately, his young girlfriend slashes her throat in the Forms nursery while clutching the brand new doll. After news reports identify the female murderer as Annabelle Higgins, the daughter of the ill-fated neighbors, paranormal events begin to occur around the Forms home, all of which seem to center around the doll. After the birth of their child, the family bends the toy and moves out the house, but when they later find it among their possessions, the supernatural occurrences return in a more violent fashion. That's a little bit on the plot. It says that the cursed doll Annabelle was first introduced in The Conjuring from 2013, and later the focus of a separate franchise with the films Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and then Annabelle Comes Home. I believe I saw all of these movies. Pretty good. It says the doll is based off a Raggedy Ann doll that was gifted to a young nurse. But after a string of mysterious events occur, including a traumatic experience with the nurse's boyfriend, the nurse and her friend invite a medium over who stated that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a deceased 7-year-old named Annabelle Higgins. The doll, allegedly cursed by a demonic spirit, has been blamed for violent attacks and at least 2 near-death experiences. Okay? It says the allegedly haunted Raggedy Ann doll is kept in an occult museum owned by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. These are people that they follow in The Conjuring, okay? It says it's in the museum and it's kept with a message under her glass reading, "Warning, positively do not open." So I've seen The Conjuring, like I stated, and I've seen Annabelle, and those are really pretty creepy. And when I saw Annabelle, you know, the doll that they have in the movie, I didn't know that in real life it was an actual Raggedy Ann doll. So you know, Raggedy Ann dolls, I had one when I was younger, so it just kind of creepy to see the real one and say that they actually have it in a museum. That's that one. That's Annabelle. So we're gonna go straight into one that's connected to Annabelle, which is The Conjuring, and as I stated, it came out in 2013. It says Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, or I'll just say Vera, played by Ed. They played Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're known for investigating the Lutz family. The Conjuring draws on a previous case of theirs that involved a creepy doll, Wilson. It says the two continued to star in the Conjuring universe, reprising their roles for The Conjuring 2, which came out in 2016, and The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It in 2021. And so The Conjuring, this is what it's about. It says in 1970, paranormal investigators Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren are summoned to a home of Carolyn and Roger and their 5 daughters. They have recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. Though the manifestations are relatively benign at first, events soon escalate in horrifying fashion, especially after the Warrens discover the house history. So that's what The Conjuring is about, and it states that it is based off of true events. It says most viewers assume that the movie was nothing but the wild imaginings of the director James Wan. However, the true story of The Conjuring is actually rooted in horrifying true experience, of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Because I guess some people don't believe that it's real. It says the movie seemed a little over dramatized and impossible to believe, though the Warrens maintain that all of the events depicted actually transpired. So people don't believe these things actually happened, but Ed and Lorraine Warren in real life actually said these things happened. I'm not one to dismiss what people say happened. These things do really happen, and we can't really dismiss what people say. We weren't there, we don't know. And like I stated before, these movies, a lot of these scary movies have to come from somewhere, so I believe that it did happen, until I'm shown something otherwise. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next movie, Exorcism of Emily Rose. I remember seeing this one, but I cannot actually remember what it was about. So let's talk about the plot really quickly. It says a lawyer takes on a negligent homicide case involving a priest who performed an exorcism on a young girl. That's basically what it says. Okay, so it says the Exorcism of Emily Rose is loosely based on the true story of Annalise Michael, a German woman who underwent exorcisms in the 1970s. The movie is a courtroom drama that alternates between a trial and flashbacks. All right, these are the real life events that came from. It says Annalise was born in 1952. She died in 1976. She came from a religious family. In her late teens, she began to have severe medical symptoms, including seizures, speaking in foreign languages, and involuntary body contortions. She was diagnosed with epileptic psychosis. She underwent 67 Catholic exorcisms, 67, in the year before her death. She died of malnutrition. Her parents and priests were convicted of negligent homicide. All right, these are the movie parallels. In the movie, Emily Rose is a college student who has nightmares, sees demons, and has involuntary body contortions. In the movie, her family calls in their parish priest, Father Moore, who performs an exorcism. Father Moore is charged with negligent homicide. That's in the movies. So it's safe to say that that is real, because we have the information about it. And yeah, that's crazy. Moving on to the next one is one that I think I've heard about it before in recent research. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. It says a 1974 film centered on chainsaw murderer Leatherface is loosely inspired by the life and crimes of killer Ed Gein. That's how you pronounce his name. It is also known as the Butcher of Plainfield or Plainfield Ghoul. In the 1950s, Gein exhumed corpses from graveyards and made keepsakes from their bones and skin. Gein also had a history of wearing women's clothes, as Leatherface does in the original film. Yes, so if you have never really seen the Texas Chainsaw, he does, in one of the older ones, he was wearing women's clothing, and I was like, when I watched that, I wondered why did they have him do that, but that's because it's based off of Ed Gein. It said he's a suspected serial killer and body snatcher. His crimes committed around his hometown in Plainfield, Wisconsin gathered widespread notoriety in 1957 after authorities discovered that he had exhumed corpses from local graveyards and fashioned keepsakes from their bones and skin. He also confessed to killing 2 women, tavern owner Mary Hogan in 1954 and hardware store owner Bernice and Warden in 1957. There's a little more information on Wikipedia about him, but I'm not going to go into it. I'm just touching on where they get this from for the movie Leatherface. That's crazy. I might have to go back and do a little more research myself. All right, and then the last one I'm going to touch for this video is The Exorcist from 1973. The Exorcist, it has to be, I think when you type in what is the scariest movie ever, I think The Exorcist comes up as that. The Exorcist continues to frighten audiences years after its debut in 1974, but the film's inspiration is just as chilling. The film's premise is based off a case of a 14-year-old boy known as Roland Doe. In 1994, it was reported that Doe was possessed by something sinister, and an exorcism was performed on him by priests. The exorcism reportedly had to be stopped because Doe ripped off and threw a piece of mattress spring at the priest. It says red scratches would appear on Doe a few days later, with marks spelling out Louis. The circumstances surrounding Doe continues to be a mystery. Even looking at the pictures for this movie, The Exorcist, is just really creepy. So the real life events were based off of a boy, and in the movie, you know, I think it's about a little girl. Yes, so The Exorcist, looking up what it says one of the most profitable horror movies ever made. This tale of an exorcism is based loosely on actual events that I already read. When young Reagan starts acting odd, levitating, speaking in tongues, her worried mother seeks medical help only to hit a dead end. A local priest, however, thinks the girl may be seized by the devil. The priest makes a request to perform an exorcism, and the church sends in an expert to help with the difficult job. So, you know, a lot of times when these movies are based on, you know, loosely on real life events, you know, they take the real life events and then they add more stuff, you know, just for the movie. You know, they might change a few things or do this and that, but it still doesn't change the fact that that idea originally came from something true, something real, something creepy, something crazy, and turned into this great dynamic of a horror movie. So in this video, it wasn't supposed to be as long as the first one, the part one. I put the part one over here somewhere. If you haven't seen it, go check out part one of the video just like this. Okay, so those are all the movies I wanted to touch in this one specifically. So with that being said, please like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate all those new subscribers on this channel, and just thank you for all the love that I've been receiving on this channel. All right, so join me again right here on The Real Ish next week. I'll be back for a brand new video. Thank you for watching. God bless.